Oh my. Oh my.
You are now tuned in to the Revolution Radio Show.
Yo, what it is and what it do. You are officially tuned into the Revolution Radio Show on 102.3 FM, KCAA in the Inland Empire, worldwide on the NBC Radio Network and on the iHeartRadio app. It is Thursday, April the 15th, and I'm your host, Jay Love. And as always, I'm joined by my amazingly talented, wonderfully brilliant, and amazingly beautiful co-host, the Asian Queen, Miss Melione. How you doing, Miss Melione?
Oh, great, Jay. Keep going, man. I was trying to see how creative you get with the adjectives.
I can go. I can go all day. I don't dig.
But, I feel great, man. I thought today was the tax day, but I guess it got extended for a month, so I'm good. I can get my taxes. You
should have been on that.
Man, what's Drake say? What's that line that he says? I ain't get my tax done yet. Yeah. Something like that, but yeah, I'm on it. I called my tax lady today, and she's like, "Well, you have an extension, so you're good." But she's like, "Yeah, I need all your documents."
Okay.
So, do you do them yourself, or you get them done?
No, I get them done. I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'll mess around and what you mean? I would. I would.
Right.
So it's cool. Yesterday was a dope show. Shout out to the homie Big Percy. If you guys didn't tune in, you need to check out yesterday's show. We got it everywhere. We got it on Facebook, got it on YouTube, it's everywhere. You got to check it out. But Big Percy, shout out to him. And we got a lot going on today. We're going to discuss a lot of things. There's so many things in the news, but I want to take a moment real quick and address something that was brought to my attention. Okay. And so it was brought to my attention that allegedly, some of y'all who've been listening to me believe that potentially I may be a little bit aggressive when it comes to talking about my Caucasian brethren. That some of y'all feel that I'm always saying bad things about white people. And that I'm saying that all white people are racist because of the things we talk about in the news. So I want to be very clear when I say this. I do not believe that all white people are racist. Furthermore, I don't believe that all cops are killers, that all cops are terrible. I am not anti-police. I am anti-police brutality. I am not anti-white people. I am against those. I am anti-white people who are full of racism and ignorance. That is what I want to be very clear about that, because I got, a lot of y'all, I want y'all to understand, I love mayonnaise. You understand what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I want to get a white on white Bentley and call it my John McCain. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to be very clear, because I'm going to talk about white people today, and I'm going to talk about racists. But understand, like my mama used to say, if the shoe don't fit, don't put it on. If it ain't about you, if you are not ignorant, if you are not vile, if you are not racist, then this does not apply to you. This apply to them other folk that are unfortunately are your skin folk, and not all your skin folk is your kin folk. That's a country saying. That's the way to say that they not all like you, just like we not all like them. Does that make sense? So with that being said,
you got some hate mail, huh, Jay? You got some hate mail?
I just had some people coming at me talking about, Jay, you talk real aggressive. And I'm saying, I'm sorry that my existence is real aggressive. I'm sorry that the things that I deal with and that constantly come across my feed, because that's the way of life, being a colored person in this country, that we deal with. Like, I know people think slavery was a long time ago, but it really wasn't. I know that people think that the civil rights movement was a long time ago, but it was literally my parents' generation. Matter of fact, let me clue y'all in on something. I am 46 years old. I know your boy don't look it, because good black don't crack, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, you 46?
46, and good black don't crack, ladies. I don't look a day over 32. You know what I mean? And if it was up to me, I would put myself in the 20s, but hey, it's not up to me. But here's the thing. I am the last generation, okay? I was going to elementary when I lived in Houston, Texas. Now, those of y'all who don't understand, Houston, Texas is East Texas, which means it's still the South. Right? There was slavery. As a matter of fact, the very last place that slaves were in this great United States of America was in the Houston area. That's why we celebrate Juneteenth. Okay. We'll do that lesson later. But here's the point. I am the last generation of children. Excuse me, let me say how the old colored ladies you said, cheerings. I am the last generation of cheerings that was bused to school. All the kids where I grew up, okay? We was a bus full of colored kids. And on the paper to go to the school in a white neighborhood, right? There was like you would say like a Brentwood type neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? A Sherman Oaks in Houston, right? Called West University. All of us little colored children that got on that bus to go to that school, guess what? We were on a colored quota, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it literally said colored quota. So understand this stuff was not that long ago. It was in my lifetime, which means all of these people are still alive. Right. These races that you see on these films, like we see like these films and we think like, oh, because maybe some of them were so black and white.
Yeah, it's just getting filmed now. It's just getting filmed now.
Yeah, this stuff has been going on. Just like you said, Melione, just imagine if they would have had cell phones in the 60s with cameras on it and the 70s and the 80s. Do you imagine the amount of things that we would have caught over the decades? It's just that now everybody, like, there's cameras literally everywhere. Like, you can't escape it. Like,
they got cameras for cameras.
Exactly. and so that's why people, you know, there's so many things, and you feel, I know a lot of you who don't experience these sorts of things may feel like it's overwhelming, right? Especially now with the George Floyd, it's actually the Derek Chauvin trial, but that the only way y'all are going to understand it is if I say George Floyd, right? The George Floyd trial going on. You're like, oh, I know. I feel you. Some of you are going like, here we go again. Our news feeds are going to be filled with Black Lives Matter and, you know, defund the police and all of this other stuff. And I know it gets overwhelming. Like, I really understand that. But imagine what it's like to be little colored kids living in a world that this is your reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm trying to look, white people, I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even mad that y'all messed up the potato salad. Like, because I don't eat potato salad anyway.
Jay, so can you not, Jay?
I'm just saying, I don't eat.
Uncle. I have a white uncle. Shout out Uncle Brent. His potato salad isn't bad.
Hey, I got a white uncle. My Uncle Doug. My Uncle Doug is a Southern Baptist minister. He is as white as they come. And I got a whole bunch of little white cousins. Huh? I don't know, because I don't eat potato salad. You know what I mean?
Oh my
so
God.
I'm just gonna say it's tasty. It's tasty. You know, I got a bunch of little white cousins running around, and you know, they got more white children that they got. So shout out to, you know, and it's funny because that's the first thing that racist people say. Well, I got I got little black nephews, right? That's the first thing that racists say. You know what I mean? But let me say this. I will furthermore add to my ridiculousnh, because y'all think it's ridiculous, by saying this. I'm sorry, people, to bust your bubble, but black people can't be racist. Ooh, I know I just got a bunch of people's attention right now. Let me say that again. I might even put the horn on that one. I'm going to put the horn on that one just to say this mess. Black people cannot be racist. I'm going to tell you why. Racism is a system, right? The worst thing that black people can do is make jokes. We can go, white people talk like this. Ha ha. Hey, Bob. All right. That's the most that black people can do. We can make jokes, right? We can make, that's it. But racism is a system. Racism says, hey, little, and watch, this is what they're going to call you, because they didn't used to call you Asian queen, Melione. They used to call you Oriental. They say, hey, little Oriental girl, you can't come over here because you's Oriental. And guess what? They would stop you from doing that. You know why there's a Koreatown and a Chinatown and every other town is because they put you in places that they didn't want to be. So they was like, y'all go over there. All of your people go. Oh, that's a system, right? Systems created ghettos. Systems created poverty. Systems created all of these things that then turn around and blame it on the folks that live there and that come up there, right? But we black people, you know, I'm sorry to tell you this, you know, but we just can't be racist because we ain't got no power. Racism is a system of power. So the most I ever do to y'all is hurt your feelings. Okay.
I mean, I semi-agree, semi-disagree with that. I know your heart. You know what I mean? Like whether people think you're racist or not, I know.
Let's go.
You know,
Let's
you
go.
Ain't. But I do think black people can be racist. Like to me, that statement alone, that's a little ignorant to say, because the definition of being racist is being prejudiced towards somebody based on.
No. Like I said, racism, black people can be prejudiced. Absolutely. Racism is a system, and that's the only thing I'm trying to differentiate, is that racism is an actual system. Like if you go, like it's too deep to get into right now because we're gonna get into some other things. Right? Well, actually, we're gonna talk about it a little bit.
So is somebody pulling their eyes back, going ching chong, ching chong?
That's prejudice. That's prejudice, but they don't have the power. Racism is this. Racism
or they don't let me in, or they don't let you in because you're black or a club.
Okay, yes, that's race. Anything that has power to stop you from doing something.
So I've been, I think there's black people can be racist. They, you know what I mean? Like there's situations where they don't allow certain people to come, or they act a certain way towards a race because of their race color. Like I understand you're very black power, but to make
and I do agree. Black people can be prejudiced. I know, for example,
can be racist too. I totally understand. You're all about the black power.
If we have power somewhere, I agree with you. It's just very few places that we have the power to stop somebody from. You know what I mean?
It could be any type of power. It could be like taking food or something. I don't know what I mean. Even in jail, it could be like a food thing. No, like you're not sitting here. You're not gonna sit here, white
Jail's
boy.
a little bit different because that's all
jail, but even I've even experienced in high school. I've witnessed it. Like somebody said, like a black kid would say, "No, you can't sit here," to somebody like, you know what I mean, to like a white kid or something. That's what I'm saying. I semi agree with you, but I semi disagree with you. I just make that blanket statement: black people can't be racist. I don't think that's true because black people can be racist.
Well, again, because like I said, what I'm establishing is that racism is an actual system. I believe we can be prejudiced. There's a lot of prejudiced black people. There's people prejudiced in every race. At different times in my life, I'll admit that I've been prejudiced. You know what I mean? But like I said, racism is an actual system. Like it exists because certain people are in power. It can literally affect your way of life. They can affect you going to a school, getting a job, living in a certain neighborhood. It really affects your life. Prejudice is an inconvenience, a discomfort. So, for example, something that was both prejudice and racist that recently happened that I want to talk about, because today what we're going to be talking about on the show, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, I'm going to give out my seven rules for surviving a traffic stop. And obviously I'm talking to a whole lot of people that may not be Caucasian, because y'all are going to be okay. All right, so y'all win this one. But for everybody else who is not Caucasian, these are my 7 rules for surviving a traffic stop. Now, I can't guarantee you that you're going to survive. It's about a 60-40 right now. It's about 60-40. And I can't guarantee you that you're not going to get roughed up a little bit. But this is your best chances of survival, these 7 rules, right? But
wait, you composed these rules or you read it somewhere?
No. These are my rules. This is literally my protocol. This is literally my protocol of what I do in a traffic stop and what I advise. I mentor young men, what I advise young black men to do when they are pulled over by the police, because I want them to make it home. Right. So I have 7.
Are these in order? Like top?
Yes, they're in order.
Top?
They're in order, like, because you have to do them in this order in order for it to work. Right. And so rule number 1. Okay. And don't worry, we're going to play some music or do some other stuff. We're going to have some fun. But I think some people maybe there's somebody driving right now, got the police behind them, and they're a little bit nervous. So rule number 1, and this one is very important, and this actually happened. And my prime example I'm gonna use is the gentleman, the first Army lieutenant that got pulled over in Virginia and got pepper sprayed. And he's a great example because he did survive. Now he got pepper sprayed, which sucked, but he survived. And the first thing that he did, and this one is gonna be, and I know you're gonna get a little nervous at first, but you got to do this, and I'm gonna tell you how to pull it off. Okay. So number 1, what he did is he drove for an extra mile until he could find a lighted area that he felt safe. So he found a gas station. So rule number 1 is, you know what? Don't ever never pull over on the side of the freeway, on the side of a highway, or on a dark street, or in a residential. Don't do it. Look, I don't care. They going to get mad at you. Let them get mad because they already don't like you. You keep going until you find a lighted area, preferably someplace with cameras. Usually there's gas stations, not too far from you in any direction. But find yourself a parking.
Even if it says 5 miles away, the cop sirens.
You drive them 5 miles. Just drive them at a regular speed limit and take them 5 miles.
You gotta say allegedly after this. Somebody's gonna listen to you.
I do this. I do this. Like I literally do. I will not.
It says 10 miles for the nearest gas station.
Well, we going for 10 miles, because I'm not pulling over right here.
This is 5 stars.
They can bring the helicopter. Oh, we got a caller. Hold on. We got a caller. Thank you for calling into the Revolution Radio Show. Who may I ask is on the line?
Hello.
Hello, who's on the line?
This is Rich Slime.
Rich? You say Rich?
Yeah, Rich Slime.
Okay, how you doing, Rich? How you doing, sir?
I was wondering if you guys could play Lil Durk, Hellcat, and Track Stars.
Probably on another day. I don't know if you found out, but if you heard us, but today we're talking about we got into racism and how do we survive a traffic stop as
I didn't hear. What song does he want to play?
What song did you say you wanted to play?
Lil Durk, Hellcat and Track Stars.
Lil Durk, Hellcat and Track Stars, something like that. Did I say it right?
Version.
Yeah.
Hellcat and Track Stars.
Helltrack and Track
Stars.
Trackhawks. You talking about Trackhawks, Hellcats, and Trackhawks?
Yeah, that one, Trackhawks. That one. That's the one. Well, listen, let me ask you this. Have you ever been pulled over by the police? Or you sound, I don't mean to judge you, you know what I mean? But you got a little bit of bass in your voice. You sound like you colored. You know what I'm saying? Is you a Negro, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
no, I got pulled over in the car before, but they ain't never asked me anything like that.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, okay.
Okay, ask him if he agree. You should if you could drive 10 miles.
Do you agree that you should wait to pull over until you find a safe place to pull over?
Even if it's 10 miles.
Even if it's 10 miles.
Yeah. Yes.
See, Melione, this is what you don't understand. Hey, you know what? Thank you, brother, for calling. Please call again. You know what I mean? We definitely appreciate you being a listener right here at the Revolution Radio Show.
People on IG Live, they're like, I don't know, homie.
Okay, thanks.
You know, but look, I'm trying to tell her that, look, we have some unwritten rules as brothers that they don't understand. Like, they haven't been to our meetings. You know, when we have the national meetings, the coalition meetings of colored people.
What do you mean, man? The person on IG Live, shout out to Legend, he said he's black, and he said, I don't know. You said.
Say that again, sir.
Okay, I was listening.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm trying to tell them, like, there's some unwritten rules we got in our community. You know what I'm saying? That like other folks might not be privy to. You know what I'm saying? But they're kind of, like the telephone voice, right? Most of us, like, let me ask you this, sir. When you call on the phone and you gonna call like a, maybe for a job interview or something, do you have your telephone voice when you're gonna be talking to white people?
Yeah.
See, I know, because it's that, when you do the.
What was the point of that? I do too.
I think this, some black man talks stuff like that, so you'll never know. It's words, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know what, brother? I appreciate you. Huh?
Look, it's because black men don't know how to, like. To me, I'm ignorant. I ain't gonna lie. I'm from Chicago.
He said I'm ignorant.
I talk the way I talk because that's the way I was raised upon. You feel me? So as long as people, you can't blame the man that's already before us. You gotta blame yourself, because only you have a chance to change the future that you're trying to create. You feel me?
I got you, brother. I thank you for calling in. Please continue to listen to the Revolution Radio Show. We're going to work on that song for you, man. I thank you so much, and hope that you'll be calling in again some other time. Hey, Be blessed, brother. So, okay.
I don't like how you said that. First of all, when a caller comes in, let's put them on speaker on your laptop. Take off your headphones so they could hear. But look, I don't like how you said that. Oh, I don't understand, because somebody on my IG Live, shout out to Legends, he's black, and he was saying he didn't agree with the whole 10-mile thing. He's like, I don't know, homie. Like, it's not.
Okay, cool. You're the one that gave the exaggeration of 10 miles. I'm just telling you. I really want to know. I'm just telling you.
That's why I'm exaggerating to see, would you go that far?
This is a rule. This is a rule that I stick to. I have been pulled over a gazillion times in my life. Okay. And this is what I always do. I do not deviate. And so far, I have made it home. It hasn't always been the exact experience that I would like, but I make it home. Right. Right.
That's why I want to be dramatic. 10 miles. You said yes.
Honestly, put it this way. If it's during the day, maybe I won't go 10 miles. But if it's at night, I absolutely will drive farther on purpose because I do not feel safe. I honestly do not feel that it's safe for me to be in a dark place with someone with a gun with the ability to kill me and get away with it. So,
right.
yes.
Okay, what's rule 2? What's rule number 2?
So, rule number 2, when you get to your destination, I know this seems like common sense, okay, but roll all the windows down. All of them. Roll all the windows. Even if you got
smoke?
It doesn't, no, smoke, no, it's not about smoke. It's about, you have to make, here's what you have to understand. The most, and I heard Charlemagne the God say this, and I will repeat this. No, it was D.L. Hughley. I'm sorry. But the most dangerous place for a black male to live is in the imagination of a white person. Because we are deemed, study after study has proven that we are deemed to be, in the imagination of people, more threatening than any other race on the planet Earth. When they've done different survey after survey after survey, including in law enforcement, and law enforcement has agreed that black men are more threatening mentally, at least to them, than any other race. So these are facts, right? So it's about making them feel more comfortable, right? The less of a threat that you are, the better your likelihood is of surviving a traffic stop.
So roll all your windows down.
So roll all your windows down.
You need the roof down?
Hey, whatever you got, roll it down. Roll it down. Rule number 3 that goes kind of hand, which again should be common sense, but some people don't do this. Okay, is if you have music on, turn the music off and turn the car off. Like, you don't want no distractions, no, none of that extra stuff, because it's already an agitated situation.
No gospel music, gospel.
No gospel, nothing. Okay. Turn it all off. Okay. All of it. So that's rule number 3. Okay. Rule number 4. You need to, if you can, in time, you might not have the time to do this, but if you can, you're going to get your license and put it in between your fingers. But if you don't, bottom, because they go together. Okay. But if you don't, what you're going to do is put your hands palms up on the top of your steering wheel. The reason being is you want them to see your hands at all times. Now, if you saw the video of the gentleman that got pulled over in Virginia, the first lieutenant, the entire time his hands were up and out. He never, ever, ever. Matter of fact, when they pulled him out of the car, he had the officer take his seatbelt off. He wouldn't do it. I don't care how silly it sounds. I don't care how ridiculous it sounds. You need to have your hands up and visible to them at all. And I know, some of y'all are saying like Jay's exaggerating and he being crazy, but I'm telling you, I've been beat up by the police before. Okay. I've had them put guns in my face. Matter of fact, I've had them put guns in my mouth and say really ridiculous things. And I'm not going to get into it. Okay. And again, the goal here is not to show how tough you are, to show that, I'm a man and you ain't going to treat me like that. The goal is to make it home. I know that your pride doesn't want to do a lot of these things sometimes, but again, the goal, I got people who depend on me, so I got to make it home.
Real quick, can you tell the story of having the gun in your mouth, to your mouth?
Wow. She wanted to okay.
I mean, that's an interesting story. Some of the viewers, I'm pretty sure, want to hear.
Well, okay. So I got me and a couple of friends got pulled over. And as per the protocol in the 1990s, and I don't think it's necessarily changed, but we were taken out of the car and put on our knees up against the wall, right? So the whole time, now, mind you, now I want to,
you guys, like you and friends, couple of friends.
Yeah, there was a couple of friends, and so I want to be clear, and I want to tell you, and how ridiculous this is, okay? Because this is our reality. This isn't the only time in my life that I had guns in my face and all of that from police officers, but this particular time, I felt like because what happened was the whole reason I got pulled over is because the cop took his vehicle and kind of swayed it into mine, which made me kind of swerve, right? So that he wouldn't hit me. At which point that gave him the excuse to then get behind me and put the sirens on me because I was driving, as he told me, you were driving erratically, right? I noticed that and I was like, sir, you brought your vehicle into mine. Like, I was just trying to avoid you hitting me. He's like, that didn't happen. You were driving erratically. So first of all, I was already mad because of that, right? And then because I am who I am, and I am a very educated brother. When I choose to be, I can be extremely articulate, right? And so because I felt like, yo, you don't have the right to treat me this way. Because let me tell you where we were coming from. We were coming from church, ladies and gentlemen. Coming from church. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. 3 little Christian boys. Hallelujah. Just praising the Lord. Woo! You know what I mean? Doing the Holy Ghost dance. And then you're going to come and do this. It was infuriating. And the way they kept like kicking our shoes, like kicking our feet and everything. So in all honesty, yes, every time, I said when they asked me what my name is, all I would respond, which got them upset, is I kept saying lawyer. Where are you from? Lawyer. What are you doing around here? Lawyer, right? Which infuriated one of the cops. And he said, oh, you're the smart one, aren't you?
So by law, for those who don't know, do we have to technically answer those questions?
No, they even tell you that what's the first thing they tell you when they're arresting you? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and absolutely will be held against you in the court of law. You don't have to answer any questions legally.
So if they ask you something, you could stick your tongue out?
Yes. Matter of fact, there's a white guy who's famous for doing YouTube videos, and I'm going to do the research to get his name. I don't remember his name, but he does a lot. He does this on purpose. He gets pulled over, and he won't even roll the window down for the cops. He holds a piece of paper up with his information, and that's it. He won't
roll your window down when they like tap
you. You don't have to, but you know what I'm saying? It's just we're accustomed to the authority of police officers, and we do it. Right, because they basically bully us. But the truth is, and this white guy, he tests it. He goes all around the country and gets pulled over, and he's just like, no, like, and he won't answer no questions other than his name, and that's it, right? And so he'll just say, give me the ticket, give me the ticket, give me the ticket, give me it, right? So I was basically doing something, but I'm not white. So when he got upset, he said, oh, so you don't got nothing to say? I bet you got something to say if I put something in your mouth. So at which time he took his service pistol, which I believe was a 9mm, and he put it in my mouth. He said, you still want to say lawyer? You still ain't got nothing to say to me, boy? Which those of y'all who don't know, boy is code for the N-word, is code for saying monkey, is code any other racial slur you want. That's what boy means. And he said, he said, what if I cock this back and blow your brains out, boy? You still ain't got nothing to say? He said, because I could leave you here and nobody would give a damn. So long story short, thankfully, we survived that one. We got away with just a little bit of bruises to our ego and some other bruises. But the point is that
when you had the gun in your mouth, what'd you do at that point?
I thought he was going to shoot me. I just figured like,
Did you get scared, or were you like,
yeah, I got scared. I just, you just start thinking like, man, I hope that like they don't and this crazy that I had to think this, but my thoughts were like, man, I hope they don't hide my body. Like I want my mom to find my body. You know what I mean?
Were there people around you guys, like a crowd forming or something?
No. This was dark. It was at night, and it was like that's what I'm saying. I will never pull over ever again on a dark street. I don't even care if it's a neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody around. It was just us. And, like my thoughts were, man, because so at that age, I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and there's places that at least allegedly people go to take bodies out in the desert, right? And it was alleged, and I'm going to say alleged, that police would do this. I know for a fact that they would take us out there to the desert and beat the hell out of us. But it was alleged they would leave bodies out there. And so my only thoughts were like, man, I hope they don't bury us in the desert. Like, I don't want my mom to be wondering. Like, it's better that she knows. You feel me? Like, right. I hope they just shoot us and leave us here. Right. Like, these are the things I'm thinking. I'm not, I don't got time to think anything else. I'm just like, man, like, does anybody know, like, will anybody drive down the street right now? Those were the types of things I was thinking. But honestly, my biggest fear was I just didn't want them to like go bury me and my mom never find my body, which is a crazy thought to think when you're like 17 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was 17
so when
years
they finally
old.
let you go, what was there like? Did they give you guys a ticket? What did they say?
No, they just beat us up and were like, watch yourself. And they were mad because we didn't have no money on us because they assumed that we were like little gangsters or drug dealers or whatever. And because I remember when I used to slang a little bit, allegedly, They would just take our money. They would take our money from us, right? They would rough us up and take our money, but we didn't have no, you know what I mean? I was going to church. I didn't have no
Did
money.
they have cameras on the cops back then?
No, not back then. This is a new thing.
Oh,
This is a
okay.
new thing. So like, you know what I mean? So
That's
like,
crazy. Cops are the number. I feel like the number
they're a
one
gang,
gang.
and there's
It's
literally
a gang.
well, it's a fact that there's gangs in police departments. Like these are facts. This has been proven. Like the FBI will tell you that there's like thousands of like actual gangs with tattoos and initiations and everything in police departments all across the country. So that's why, like, I know it sounds ridiculous when I talk about these things, but this is a reality that a segment of our community lives, right? And so I know, and this is why I say when it gets overwhelming to people hearing it, like, oh, another black guy got shot, another black guy got beat up. Here they go. They're going to get upset again. Well, imagine how overwhelming it is for us having to live this. You know what I mean? Having to like live with the reality of this, you know what I'm saying? And like, we'll get back into the rules. But for example, there was, you know, I talked about it the other day, right? But there was a young man in South Carolina that got accosted. He was just walking down the street in his neighborhood, right? And a staff sergeant, 42-year-old Jonathan Pentland, basically assaulted him and got in his face and was like, you don't belong in this neighborhood. We take care of our own, right? Well, first of all, let me say this. Shout out to the military because the general, right, happened to be a black man. So I'm kind of excited about this. And the moment he found out this dude was discharged from the military, he was fired, and he's since been arrested on assault charges. But here's the fun part, and here's what I love, because when I saw this story, because it was filmed, right? It was on camera, and we're seeing it. Because imagine if it wouldn't have been on camera, it would have been his word against this guy's, right? And it'd have been like, see, black people make everything racist. Well, thank God that it was on camera. But the beautiful thing about it, because the first thing I did when I called one of my friends, I was like, yo, man, I wish we lived in South Carolina, or because I would go to that neighborhood and I would just do my little laps around that right there, just up and down by his house. I do my laps. Like, what you gonna say? I'm grown. Like, what you gonna? Because he was a young kid. He was only 20 years old. So sure enough, 50 people the last 2 days, and I think today was more, showed up in that black people walking up and down that street. Like, what you gonna do today, Mr. Jonathan Pentland? Are you gonna come out and because like you can't, this is not, and this is what the rallying cry was. It's not the 1950s anymore. It's not the 60s. You're not gonna intimidate us. You're not gonna make us shrink down and say, yes, sir. Yes, I apologize, boss. My apologies, boss. I didn't mean to walk. I should have moved to the other side of the street when you came walking this way, because that was a thing. It used to be an unwritten rule that when you're walking down the street and a white person is coming in your direction, you're supposed to get off of the sidewalk and step into the street so they could pass. That was a legitimate thing. And I can go on and on and on. I mean, in the state of Florida, something that was really famous, there's a saying out there that people don't even know where it comes from. It's, you know, you ever seen that gator bait? Well, it's because back in the day, they used to use black babies as bait for alligators, for catching alligators. They were called gator bait. And it's a legit thing. And then they would take the rest of the remains that were left and they would turn it into soap. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the legacy of this beautiful country that we live in, America the Beautiful.
Turn it into soap?
Yeah, you could turn, I guess, the skin and the fat, because, you know, babies are fat. You could turn that into soap. And they would turn it into soap. And I mean, wow. But again, this is the legacy of a country where when black men were hung, people would come out and have picnics around the dead body. And then they would take pictures and turn those pictures into postcards and mail them all over the country. So we got a comment. Hey, DeWanda, how you doing? Beautiful black sister. Glad to see that you tuning in. You know what I'm talking about. You from South Central. So I know you know what I'm talking about. So
hey, so shout out to Legends Are Born in September on IG. He said, yeah, the guy was charged but you know what's crazy? He's discharged. But what will prevent him from getting hired as a police officer? I think he's referring to that guy you were talking about.
Yeah, I'd probably, you know what? He's probably right. He probably will go get a job as a cop somewhere.
And will it prevent him if you get discharged from the military?
I don't think so. I mean, but what will prevent him is if he's convicted of an assault. So we need to get him convicted. So he's been arrested. He's out already on bail, but so he's been charged, but charged and a conviction are two totally different things. like Derek Chauvin has been charged with murder, but he hasn't been convicted yet.
Right.
So unless he gets convicted of assault, and more than likely what's probably, and I don't know for sure, but I'm just based on my understanding of the legal system, what's probably happening right now is that his attorneys are trying to come up with a plea deal so that he doesn't have to have assault on his record, right? Because they don't want that on your record. Yeah. So, we'll see what happens there. But like I said, these things are a way of life, unfortunately, for many of us. And so I know you guys are tired of hearing about it. Matter of fact, Melione knows I was speaking with someone that we both know prior to getting on the show. And, I know that person gets sick of hearing me talk about it, right? But like, this is the reality of what I live. And what most of the people that I know in my circle and people that I love, this is what we live. And
now, when this person, I'm not going to say this person's name, when they talked to you about it, was it out of anger? Was it out of love? Was it out of concern about,
it was out of, here you go being silly, Jay. Like, I don't think they meant anything bad by it. It was just more of a, like, this is Jay being Jay. You know what I mean? Like, it's just Jay being Jay. Like, and so, but it's not, to me, like, and the only reason I had the conversation was like, I'm not going to back down and let you make it less than, like, these are facts. The facts are that you right.
Well, you know what? We that person probably didn't tune in the other day, because remember, me and Cherie would kind of joke a little bit like that, like, here you go, Jay, like talking about, the racial card thing. But I'm not gonna lie, a couple episodes ago, shout out to everybody that tuned in for that episode. You shared your story of your first date with your wife, and the cop, kind of just pulling you guys over and you didn't do anything, and then him trying to tell your wife or your girl at that time to accuse you of rape or sexual assault. Yeah. So, that gave me a way better, deeper understanding of where you're coming from and your perspective. So, like, feel free to talk about that, release that. And I'm genuinely sorry you had to go through that. I can get a glimpse of it, us Asians going through what we're going through now. There's been racism before, but I think it's been multiplied this past year.
No, and I was about to bring that up, and I was about to say, you're going to start hearing the same things, right? Because people are going to start telling you, Melione, oh, here you go again with the Asian hate. Here you go. Like, come on, is everything an attack on Asians? Trust me, you're going to start. If you haven't heard it yet, you're going to start to hear it.
You know what's weird? I'm hearing both sides. Like, I'm hearing like, oh, here she go posting about it again. But then I'm also hearing you're not posting about it enough. And I kind of want to bring, I'm serious. I kind of want to bring it up. I might even make a little post on my IG. It's like, it's kind of hard for me. I got all these shows coming up. I got like 3 or 4 shows. I got a show in Vegas coming up. It's hard for me sometimes to promote, be all positive. Y'all pull up, y'all come through. And then on this side, like, my people are like, dealing with hatred, dealing with racism, and they want me at rallies, and I want to be at rallies speaking against it. And then the other part of me is like, literally promoters are texting me, hey, you say you were going to promote the show, or like, you said you're going to promote this. So it's hard for me to be positive. My motto, stay dope, have hope, to be positive and promote a show when I got this happening in my community. So right. I mean, it's kind of tough. Like, one side, I can't please everybody. One side is like, you're not talking about it enough. Like, every one of my posts should be about hashtag stop Asian hate. And then other people are like, oh man, here she go again. She want to post about it. Like, so
no, here's the advice I'll give you. Just be authentically you. You can be both at the same time. You can be both about the revolution and all about your people. And hey, I have this really fun show. Like, come out. You can do both of those, because they're not, like, one is not exclusive to your life. You live both of these lives at the exact same time. Right. And that's why one of my posts, and I feel you, because one of my posts might be really stupid, silly, and just stupid, and just to make you, and the very next post is like, I'm sick of y'all killing us. You know what I mean? But they're both 100% my, so I do everything, and don't feel bad. Like, don't feel bad about none of it, because the only person you could be true to is you and your truth and what you're going through. Because I'm telling you, I've already heard people saying like, oh, here they go with the Asian, da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh, y'all just barely, like, welcome to the club. Y'all gonna get used to this now. Because I'm telling, because here's the funny thing. right? And shoot, man, this time goes by so fast. I got to finish my rules. But look, here's the funny thing: like with certain things, people will say like the Holocaust, and I agree, the Holocaust, never forget. 9/11, never forget, right? But then they be like, George Floyd, y'all ain't over that already? Asian hate, like, come on, that was like in San Francisco 2 weeks ago. Like, get over it already. You know what I mean? But with everything else is never forget. And I'm like, hold on, we got to remember yours, but us, we got to get over it. You know what I mean? And so I'm just saying that, like, look.
Do you think, I'm gonna ask you a real question? It might be, but do you think there will be an end to racism in America?
I don't know. And I'd like to say I believe that we're getting closer, because eventually,
are we getting more division?
Well, you got to remember, a lot of the stuff that's going on is still an older generation, right? Like if you really look at it, it's an older generation, right? Like, even because you're younger than me, even your generation isn't as close-minded as my generation, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that at some point, a lot of these old racists are going to die off, right? Now, mm-hmm. And so the goal is getting their kids and their grandkids, right? Right. That's why I love hip hop so much, because it's brought so many, like hip hop is the number one form of art in the world, like globally. And so I love the fact that hip hop has brought generations together. Do I think it'll go away completely? No. And
there'll still be individuals, right? There'll still be people, but do you think it'll be better?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be better. Yeah, because look, a lot of people,
everybody's skin's gonna be mixed.
You know what I mean? That's the quickest way to end it.
Everybody's skin's gonna be mixed somewhat, some way. I mean?
So, but I just think that, we know we have more information nowadays. You can know, like back in the day, you didn't know that your parents were stupid, right? As far as like, there's people who and I'm gonna give you a quick example. I went through a phase in high school where, just out of spite, me and my whole crew decided, like, yo, let's go date all these white girls from the rich school, right? And we just did it on purpose. Like, we just gonna go date a bunch of white girls just to piss off their parents. Right. Mm-hmm. And so, long story short, I dated this girl. Shout out Misty Shuts. I know she ain't watching because she's super Republican and conservative and she hates my guts right now. But Misty Shuts is my little white girlfriend in high school. And so, but her granddaddy was in the Ku Klux Klan. And her mama was a racist, you know what I'm saying? And so, long story short, she was told that if she ever dated a black guy, she would be disowned. One day she was late getting ready, as many girls do. We were going to go out, and I sat down in the living room with her mother, and I was on purpose because, when I choose to be, I can be very articulate. So I was talking to her mother, and I just wanted to piss her mom off. Long story short, come to find out, her mom.
Why every story you share, you want to piss off the person you're talking to? I was finding a good. Okay.
So, but what ended up happening was her mom confided in me that I was the first black person that she had ever spoke to in her, like, actually had a conversation with in her life. And she's like, because she was like, I can't believe, like, you can actually talk. Like, all the things that her father had told her, right? And this was, I have to assume at that time she was in her 40s. Right, because I was a kid, so she had to have been in her 40s, and she was like, "I've never spoken with a black before." That's what she said, a black.
She just called you a black.
A black. Well, prior to that, she had called me an N-word and a monkey.
In your face?
Yeah. Them old school racists are a whole nother breed. They don't care. Them old school racists will tell you to your face. I actually prefer them because at least you know where they coming from. I prefer those racists. That like say, yes, I'm a racist. That's
like you say, hey, what's up? Like, how do you respond?
Yeah, what's up? What's up? I would just call her cracker or
you
whitey.
Did not respond to your girl.
Well, because you're gonna come at me with that energy, I'm gonna hit you back with the same energy. And so, but anyway,
I don't believe you, but I believe you.
But my point is that we ended up having a conversation, and even after me and the girl broke up, I was friends with her mom. And her, like, I would stop by and like, hey, I'd stop by to visit her mom. And it was a beautiful thing that happened because it was just, the door was opened a little bit in her life that, like, all these things I was told as a child was a lie, right? It was all a lie. And she realized that I wasn't the pictures that she saw in movies or in rap videos, as she would put it. right? That it was, she thought we were all the same. And she realized, I was like, yo, all the adults at that time, like that, I was like, the black adults I know are business owners, they're politicians, they're doctors. Like I was explaining to her, like, yeah, I come from the hood, but what you're talking about isn't a reality. Like we're not all like that. Like, yeah, I know gangsters, but I know doctors and I know senators and I know, you know what I mean?
Right.
So anyways, my point is that I think this generation just has a lot more information and more information available to them, and knowledge is power. So let me get to my rules real quick.
Quick shout out to Legends Are Born in September. He said, a long time ago, I dated a mixed girl who had a white mom, and her mom didn't want her dating a black boy.
Of course. Even
though her husband was black, because she was a mixed baby. That's what he was saying. But the mom didn't want her dating the black guy.
Because this is what people think. Just because you date someone or have a child of another race doesn't mean you're not racist. Do you understand that how many masters had mixed babies? Like, where do you think all these light skins come from? It came from the plantation because master was all up in it. Like, you can have, I'm telling you, you can have a mixed baby and still have racist tendencies.
Right.
You can be with a person of another race and still have racist tendencies, right? Because it's woven into the very fabric of our culture,
especially
of
your parents,
society,
right?
Yes, of everything that we've ever been taught, right? All the images, like for Asians, all the images of Asian women were like the Asian temptress. And you know what I mean? Like these are images that from the time we're little. So then you expect all Asian women to be this way. You expect all Asian men to know Kung Fu. Like, why? Because that's all they gave us. That's all they gave us was like,
especially media portraying.
That's all we from the time we're little. So that's how you view Asians. You view them through that lens of everything that we were taught. And then you find out, like, wait a minute, you meet somebody and go, you don't know Kung Fu? And you're thinking to yourself, why am I that stupid that I think like that's you supposed to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like, you don't play basketball, you don't rap.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so it's just absolutely insane. Because
let's go rule number 5, 6, 7.
Okay, quick. So we didn't get there. So real quick. So number 5, 6, 7. Number 5, 6, 7. So we ended. Okay. So turn off okay. Keep your palms. Yep. That was the last one. Keep your palms on. Okay. And okay. Number 5. Rule number 5 is no matter what. I don't care what instructions they're giving you. I don't care what they're telling you. Number 5. Stay calm. Do not raise your voice. Do not raise the temperature of your actions. Stay calm. Number 6, do not, and they're going to ask you to do things that are conflicting. You put your hands up, put your hands down, get out of the car, move this, sit down, lay down. Respectfully say, sir, I'm not going to make any sudden movements. And this is literally what I say verbatim. I do not want to make any sudden movements because I don't want you to deem me a threat. Therefore, if you would like to take me out of the vehicle, you can reach in and unbuckle me, but you can pull open the door, but I am not going to move whatsoever. You're going to see my hands. My hands are going to remain right here, which is what that lieutenant did, right? Remember, his hands stayed there. And when they pulled him out of the car, he had the cop take his seatbelt off because he's like, I'm not reaching for anything. My hand, because as long as you don't move your hands, they don't have any real reason to shoot you. Now, if you move your hands, I don't know where his hands were going. He had a gun. I don't know if he had a gun. It was a stick of gum. You know what I mean? Do not ever move your hands. And number 7, no matter what you do, final rule, because by this time they probably got you in handcuffs and whatever else, do not engage in a conversation. No matter what you ask them, they're not going to answer your question. Why are you detaining me? They're not going to answer you because they don't respect you enough.
Legally, by law, do they have to?
Yes, they have to, but they're not going to because they don't respect you. So do not engage in a conversation because they're trying to get you to say anything to incriminate yourself. So just simply, you know what I mean? Just do what you can to stay alive, but do not engage in a conversation because they will use that against you as you resisting, as you being aggressive, as you being a threat to them, because at the end of the day, you cannot become a threat because the moment that you are a threat, they can take your life. And those are the realities, ladies and gentlemen, of driving while black. Now, I know that's a little depressing to some people. I know that y'all think it's a little bit much. I get it. And you know what I'm saying? I would like to apologize to you.
How many times, do you remember how many times, to be honest, you've been pulled over?
Nah, I couldn't even put a number.
You've lost count?
Nah, I have no idea. I have no idea. Like, I have no idea.
Like over 10.
Oh, I've been pulled over at least a couple hundred times in my lifetime.
Couple hundred?
Yeah. Do you understand? There was a time where literally in a course of 1 year, I got pulled over like 10 times.
A couple hundred, Jay. I mean, you ain't that old.
No, but it happened. I'm trying. Look, we're gonna put up a poll. We're gonna have another show because this show's almost done. But listen, for everybody listening, I'm gonna bring on a variety of black men, and so that it's not just me talking. I'm gonna bring on doctors. I'm gonna bring on pastors. I'm gonna bring on different men, and just so that people can see. It doesn't matter what you do if you're more articulate, like if you're a Carlton, so to speak, right? It doesn't matter, if you're skinny, fat, if you're good looking, ugly, and you're going to see that across the board, black men share this experience, even if they don't know each other. This is just what we live. And so in closing, this is what I want to say to you folks is that, look, I get it. A lot of people out there listening, I know it gets overwhelming. And I keep saying this. I understand that you get tired of hearing it and it feels like, oh, here we go again, another one. And it feels like it's an exaggeration and it really feels like much. And believe me, I feel you. But imagine what it's like to live it. I'm exhausted. Every one of my friends is exhausted, and not just for ourselves. Like I said, we're at the age where most of us got kids. Like I got dudes who can't sleep at night because they're worried about their kids. Like, will my son come home? Like, but shout out to my dude, Mark DeMoica. Mark, Mark's just so worried about his son half the time because his son is a smart guy. And that's the problem because Mark's son, shout out to nephew, is always like, I know my rights. And Mark can't get his son to understand that, like, yeah, I know you know your rights, son, but look, that's not the point. I want you to come home. Damn your rights. Sabrina Hart, thank you. Shout out to Sabrina. The reality of this is heartbreaking. It is way past the time for change. Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in, by the way. And thank you for your sentiments. It is. And so like I said, I'm good. I'm gonna be okay, but I really want. The reason I talk about it so much is because I want to see change pushed for a younger generation. I don't want the younger cast coming up to have to deal with the things that we did. Like I said, that image that's going around social media of the young man in Minnesota with tears coming down his face. He shouldn't have to feel that way. Like young kids, I know, like literally, I know men who are having talks with 7 and 8 year olds about what they do when they come across the police. Like white people don't have to have this talk with their kids. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not picking on you, white people. Y'all got advantages we don't got that we envy. I envy you. I envy you that you're never going to have to worry about your sons like this, that you're not going to have to sit down an 8-year-old and say, hey, when the police come, not if, when the police come at you, I need to teach you what to do. So please bear with us. Okay. I'm not trying to, depress y'all. I'm not trying to piss y'all off, even though it's part of my personality. I'm not trying to do that. What I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to educate, right? And I'm trying to bring it to light because we can't deal with it until we bring it to light. You know what I mean? But right. I appreciate y'all for listening. I really do. Thank you so much for those of y'all who tune in. Tell your people about this show. We trying to grow this show and make it hot. So for everybody out there who, on Melione's IG Live, everybody on the radio, everybody on Facebook, thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing this and giving people courage. Speaking of that, Legends Are Born in September said, I'm worried every day I get in my car if I'm going to make it home.
Whew.
So
dang, brother, I felt that, man. I felt that, brother. I feel you, bro. And so with that being said, we've that time has come once again, Melione, and I appreciate you, Melione. You know what I'm saying? Because I know dealing with me can be a little bit much. I know dealing with
You're good, Jay. Thank you. I appreciate you again once again for having me.
But like I said, I understand that right now you're dealing with some similar things, and I want to encourage you that when they tell you like, here you go again, you know what I'm saying? Just let it be what it let it be what it is. We have. Hey, caller, I'm sorry. The show's over, but just hold on for one moment. We'll be with you in just a second.
Shout out to it's Ty Matts. He said, great show.
Hey, we appreciate you, man. Hey, hold on for 1 second because the show is closing down, but thank you for calling in. What's your name?
What?
What's your name? Hello?
Laura.
We ain't got time. Tune in tomorrow.
All right, well, tune in tomorrow, bro. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for calling in. As usual, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Revolution Radio Show on 102.3 FM, reminding you, reach for your best, reach for success, but most of all, reach for God, because God is love and love is everything. We'll see y'all mañana.
Yeah.
Oh, my.